Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome. Great afternoon to each and every one of you. I am your girl, your host of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm Annette Harris. I am also your certified positive mental health ambassador and author of that nominated bestseller, Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat. Listen, guys, come on in. I always say, what do I tell you at 12 o'clock? Noon Central Standard Time on a Wednesday. If you see my face, it's time for you to come on and get caught in a net. Yes, I have some exciting guests that I'm going to feature on today. I always get excited every Wednesday. You guys know that. So I ask that when you come in, please do me a favor, share, like, love, share, throw up the care button if you would not mind, tag individuals into this live feed so that they will not miss what we have going on. Before I go further, Lord, we thank you for all things. We thank you for this day that you've blessed us to see. We thank you for what you've done and what you're doing in our lives. We're almost at the end of another year, but we appreciate what you've done thus far. We pray that you would get the glory out of this segment and everything we go to say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. And the opening part of the scripture, Hosea 4:6 states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And we know that that is what our show today is based off of that scripture. And we are excited to be here with you on this afternoon. It is another time for us to come and bring you great quality programming. I have some individuals I'm going to feature. This is really actually my second installment of interviews with the Distinguished Authors Guild Nominees. We started on Friday, and what we did was we wanted to feature the CEO of the Distinguished Authors Guild, and none other than Gina Gadsden herself. And then we featured a couple of the nominees on Friday. We had Teresa Hickman and then also Takesha Wade. Now, today, this coming Friday and next Wednesday, we're going to continue featuring our nominees from DAG, as we call it. This is so exciting to be a part of this, but I wanted to feature these individuals. So I'm going to bring onto the stage from the virtual waiting room, Mr. Michael Bailey is in the virtual house on today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Everything is good on my end and yourself.
I'm doing well. I am doing so well. And I'm so glad to have you here with us and to join in with us on today and to talk about about you, yourself, your books, your nomination, because this is such an exciting time that we have been blessed to partake of. And God is getting the glory. And so we're grateful for that. So thank you for taking the time out, first and foremost, to join me on today here on Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. Do me a favor. I have your bio, but if you would not mind for me describing who Mr. Bailey is to those who are just now meeting you for the first time, or even those who may know you, maybe need to have a little refresher about Michael Bailey.
Okay, Michael Bailey. I was born and raised and still reside in Los Angeles, California, a native Angelino. Been here all my life. Uh, Elementary school was where my talent was first recognized for writing. I was kind of a disruptive kid, but when I sat down to do a writing assignment in class, it always came pretty natural. So one particular paper I wrote, later on that night, the teacher called my mother. Mother said, "What did he do now? Is he in trouble?" She said, "No, no." Did he write it all by himself or did he have some help? She said, "No." She said, "He wrote it all by himself. I was watching him while he was sitting at the dining room table." So they talked a little more. And from there, eventually, I was admitted into the gifted program and kept on writing. Never really took it serious. Never thought about it as a profession or anything. Not until I got to college and I took a screenwriting class. That was my major. So I majored in that. And after I left college, I pursued screenwriting just a little bit, not too much, but a little success. And so several years ago, I said, well, let me buckle down and try my hand at fiction writing, writing novels. So I wrote a few novels before I got to Original Mind Disconnect. I got the idea for Original Mind Disconnect, must have been around 2014, 2015. And basically, it was just one sentence that said, a young man has visions of life in the past. And from there, I took on it and elaborated and built on it and fleshed out the plot, the story, built character backgrounds, bios for the different characters, the protagonists, supporting characters. And in 2015, I actually sat down and wrote the first draft, and it took about 3 months to write the first draft. So this is where we are
Wow.
today.
Wow. Okay. So 3 months. All right. So, but let me ask you now, what was this that you wrote that obviously was so impressive to your teacher to call your mom?
I have no idea. That was back in elementary school, third, fourth grade. I don't know. I had no idea. My mom would probably say because she has a good memory about that when it comes to keeping stories and mementos and souvenirs from school days. But I have no idea.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I mean, I only ask that because sometimes that is where people start off, with their writing. So they
Right.
may remember like all the details of it. But I mean, I get it. I understand. Like you said, it was
Uh
such a
huh.
long time ago.
Yeah.
But okay, so obviously that was so impressive to her. So let me ask you this question, and I've asked this of the other guests that I had. Was your life influenced by your experiences or your experiences influenced by your life?
I think my life was influenced definitely by my experiences.
How?
Yeah. Out from elementary up to high school, I was pretty active in church and went on a regular basis, sang in the choir. When I was younger, I was an altar boy. But when I got out of college, I quit college about a year and a half before I was supposed to graduate. And
Hmm.
I was going through some things, had some challenges, some ups and downs, and I had a kind of fell out with going to church, organized religion. I never gave up on my faith and belief in a higher power. I never gave up on God. With organized religion, I didn't think at that time was really giving me what I felt I needed. So
Wow.
I think writing was a way for me to help sort things out, to delve into myself, and really see what it was that I was searching for. And writing helped me. It was a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay. Okay. Almost like a lifeline for you, if you will.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
That's
All right. I
exactly what
get
it
it.
was.
And sometimes, and I can kind of relate to that, Michael, because the type of person that I am, to get my words out or to express myself, I have to sit down and write. I have to write it
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, I probably would also consider myself one that I kind of go off script or just go off the top of my head. But when I write it down, that's it, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
because I'm,
Same here.
yeah.
Same here.
Okay.
Yeah. Writing
Okay.
for me is it's like cathartic. It's like a therapy. And
Yeah.
I don't do it as much, but I used to when I was making notes in my journals about scripts and books and you know jot down ideas for plots and characters. I would also take the time to write down what was going on in my mind, what thoughts I was having, what was getting under my skin, what was good, what was not so good. So yeah,
Okay.
writing has served its purpose for me more than one way.
Right. Okay. I hear you. I get it. I love it. I love that mentality. Yeah, that's good, and that would probably encourage others as well. Those who may want to write, maybe they're a little hesitant. You're kind of giving them a little, piece of advice there. Just kind of maybe talk about your feelings or how you feel, because sometimes
Exactly.
people don't know exactly where to start to write. They may want to write,
Exactly.
but they
Right.
don't know exactly where to start. Um, let me stay on that a little bit. As an author, now, how many books have you authored?
Prior to Original Mind Disconnect, I say maybe four.
Four. Okay.
Four books.
All
Uh
right.
huh. This is the first one to
Okay.
get published.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that kind of goes in line with what I want to ask you. What kind of encouragement would you give to those who desire to write? Maybe they've sat down, years ago and started
Hmm.
writing, and then they pushed it to the side, or life started happening, and maybe they weren't able to get back to it. What kind of encouragement would you give to someone who's who know they should be an author, looking to become an author, or maybe it's just been a little difficult for them?
What I would say is pace yourself. Don't put too much on your plate at one time. What I say is that if you can write a page a day, every day for 365 days, you'll have 365 pages at the end of the year. And right now, nowadays in the publishing game, that's about the average length for a book. And don't be too hard because that's usually what it takes for most people. From the first draft and the rewrites and the editing and the proofing, and all that, it'll take over a year, year and a half, 2 years. So I'd say discipline also. You really have to develop a discipline and a structure where this is what I'm going to do writing in terms of X amount of hours, X amount of
Mhm.
whatever during the day, evening, afternoon. Block that time out and just sit down and just let it flow, whether it's stream of conscious, whether you're going by an outline or something like that. Just let it all come out. You don't have to get it right that day, that very day when you're writing. Give yourself space and give yourself a room to say, okay, I can always come back the next day and edit and rewrite. Just my concern is just get it out on the page and just let it flow like a faucet.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's the discipline you talk about when you mention just sit
Yeah,
down and just write.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's great advice, actually. That's very great advice. Because, sometimes people can kind of get stuck. I know that when my book came out, I cannot tell you the countless number of people that said, I've been meaning to and wanting to write a book, and it's like some of them,
Yeah.
they have like manuscripts, maybe in their closet or something, or sitting on their desk,
Right.
that they never really did anything else with. And so then when I wrote my book, and these are people that I know, maybe loved ones and family members, they like, okay, it kind of sparked them and encouraged them to go ahead and do it. And so I always say, and I learned this from my publisher, that everyone has a book inside of them.
I believe
um,
that.
and so how do you feel about that? You believe that, but what is, you want to add anything else to that?
Everybody has a book inside them. It's just, to me, it comes down to how do you go about the process of releasing that book and getting what's inside of you down on paper, whether it's longhand or whether you're typing it. Uh, that really requires you sitting down and putting in the effort, the brain, the mental work of really getting down everything. Like I just said, put it down on paper, let it flow. Don't worry about it being perfect because nobody gets it right or perfect the first time, and just flow and let it go. No matter if it's chronological, chapter one through whatever, or it comes to you in bits and pieces out of order, let it flow. That's what I say. Just let it out, let it flow, let it go, and once you have something to really build on, when you see a story or a plot really coming into effect and it's taking shape, then for me, I think that's when you started to head down the right path. Then you know you're on your
Yeah,
way.
good advice. That's great advice. um Question for you, this is not even on my questions, but I want to ask you this. As a man, as an
Hmm.
African American man, what does holding the title of author mean to you? Was it important? I mean, I know you said it had been like some years before your book was actually published, and
Right.
this was the only one that was published. What does
So
being an
far.
author mean to you as a Black man?
What it means to me as a black man, it's a way of putting myself or my thoughts or feelings or my stance, how I feel about things in society out in the world to be shared and discussed with other people. Um, I feel like there a lot of times there's not a lot of, especially in traditional publishing, but publishing in general, you don't see a lot of black male authors oftentimes get offered contracts and book deals. And a lot of
Right.
times, what I find is a lot of us as black men writers, male writers, we go the self publication route because a lot of times the doors just aren't open. But also, I feel like I'm following in the tradition of black male writers that came before me, like Richard Wright and Ralph Ellison and James Baldwin, uh, uh, Chester Himes, people like that. I feel like I'm carrying on the tradition that Ernest J. Gaines from Louisiana. I feel, we're all distinct. We all have our own voice. We all have our own style, but we share in common our experiences living as black men in America. So that's
Mm.
what I feel.
Ooh, now you know what? You just started up some stuff when you start rattling off those authors. Man, Richard Wright was when I was young. Oh my God, I loved reading his books. It was just amazing to me how he would take you in,
Yes, he
you
would.
know.
Uh-huh.
And it was he just took his time and just laid things out. And boy, you were like really involved in it as if you were watching a movie or something.
Right, right.
Well, that's how it
Very
was
true.
for me.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you took me back saying those, and then Baldwin and different ones. But you're right, we don't have that many of our black men either writing or publishing their books. It's kind of you're almost an anomaly,
Yeah. And
so to
the
speak.
sad part about it to me is that for me, even though I was in the gifted program and it was recognized from a young age that I had a talent for writing, a lot of times as black men, not just write, but we're not really encouraged to express ourselves on paper. We're not really encouraged to say, well, go ahead and get what you feel down on paper. And, it's almost like it's not cool or, it may be seen like it's not the thing for a black man to do. But some of our best black men were writers, novelists,
Yeah,
nonfiction, fiction. So, like I said earlier, I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of those who came before me.
yeah. And indeed you are, Mr. Bailey. Indeed you are. And I love it. Anyone knows me. I love to encourage our black men in
Yeah.
whatever area that they're in, and so I encourage you to continue and doing what you're doing because you're helping others. You are showing our world, and you're showing our other brothers. Man, you can express yourself. If you want to
Yeah.
do it through writing, this is a wonderful way to do it, and do away with that stigma because you kind of touched on it that our men can't show their emotions or their expressions, at all. You got to keep it shut up. You're the man. You're supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to show anything. You're showing them otherwise, and that's a good thing. Because you know what? At the end of the day, this is just me thinking. It's also healing for you.
Yes.
Um,
True. It's therapy. It's cathartic.
yeah,
And you know what else
definitely.
though? Um, with I think the world of rap, the rap game, has opened a door, and you see it with so many young men. I mean, young women too, but especially the young men. It's giving them an outlet to get everything that they feel, everything they can express. They can express their rap lyrics. I mean, because they're poets, basically. At the end of the day, from what I see, they're poets.
Yeah.
Like a Gil
Yep.
Scott Heron, going back to him. And I think it's great to see because I've also, when in elementary school, I tried my hand. I could still to this day write poetry. Matter of fact, I hadn't written any. It had been some years, many years, until I wrote another novel recently, and one of the supporting characters was a rapper. And I said,
Oh,
well, if he's gonna rap, if he's a rapper, then I got to come up with some lyrics. So I just started writing. I said, let me see if I can do it. It's been since junior high and high school, but it was like turning on a faucet. It just came back automatically.
okay, okay. Wow, that's a great point, though. You're right, because they really are, um, that is the area, and they're artists in that respect, and they're able to express themselves through rap, and
Right.
bring the world in with them and help the world to understand their mentality as well. So that's good. I had a poet, a black male poet, on, let's see, I think it was last month, and these months are moving so fast. But I had him on, and he has 5 books out now. He does poetry, all poetry. And I when I first met him, I was really amazed, because here he's a young man too. I think he's like in his 40s.
Uh huh.
I guess I'm showing my age, but anyway,
Uh huh.
he's a young man, but he's able to sit down and just express himself, and he's been through an awful lot in his life. And so he's able to, put it in
Yeah.
poetry form and put it in black and white, which I just think is absolutely amazing. It
Right.
needs to happen that way. Our children need to see it, and so on and so forth. So that's a good thing. I know I kind of got off into talking about the male authors and everything, but that was a good thing because I really wanted to bring that out. I'm looking at you, my brother, and you're doing it, and I love it, and I encourage you to continue. I
Thank
really
you.
do.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I know that I know we have other guests that we're going to have on, but I want to ask you this: talk about your supporters, those who are in your group and on your team, that have helped you, even through your writing process. And then also talk about those who were not so supportive, those naysayers, if you would not mind, as it relates to your book.
Oh, okay. Well, it goes without saying, without a question, would be my parents, my immediate family, and extended family too. But my mom and dad and my brother, uh, the three of them they have always been very, very supportive. They've never really been critical. They've always given me the courage and the faith that I can go out there and achieve anything I set my mind to, regardless of what it is. They always knew I could write. I mean, they knew it before my teacher knew it, you know. And they just quietly, especially my parents, in their own way, and I can feel it, even though they may not be there in person. I can feel them around me, giving me a pat on the back, hey, thumbs up, way to go. They were very pleased when I told them I got nominated. And they would say, yeah, for your first book, that's a heck of an achievement. And I said, yeah,
Yes.
you're right, it is, because all the work I put into it, and to be recognized for my first book being published, that's a heck of a thing. So I'm really grateful for that. But as far as the naysayers, I don't really know of any personally that I've had to deal with directly because I don't allow all the negativity to get in my way to come into my space. If it's not positive, you keep it moving. I don't, you know,
Yeah.
I don't have any time for that because it can influence you, especially writers. There's so much outside influence. That's another thing you have to learn how to tune things out, and especially
Hmm.
naysayers. Because not everybody's going to be receptive. Like I said, it's kind of hard for a lot of black writers, especially black male writers, to get book deals with traditional publishers. Because they'll come up with who knows how many excuses as to why not they'll offer you, why they won't offer you a contract. But on the other hand, a white writer, they'll literally roll out the red carpet. You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh, wait. I love it. I love it. You put down some gems here on today. I appreciate that, and it helps you though. When you're writing or whatever project that you're doing, to have that support behind you, it kind of pushes you, a little bit. Um, I think the only way, the main way that I handle my any naysayers that there could have been, I didn't tell anybody I was writing a book
oh, okay.
because that
Same
was
here.
just
That I
me.
think about it. Yeah, me too. Same here. Now that I think, I told my family and a few of my other friends. Yeah,
Right.
but I didn't really
Yeah.
put it out there. I didn't broadcast it.
Exactly. And it's not that you're
Yeah.
trying to be funny, but you knew
Right.
that you had a mission to accomplish and to
Yes, there
do,
you go.
and
That's
you
it.
just like you said, you block out, everything else
Right.
that you kind of maybe anticipate would try to hinder you, and you didn't
Yeah.
want that to happen. So okay, all right.
Uh-huh.
Well, great for your team, your family, your loved ones for supporting you and pushing you through. That again, like I said, it's so needed. It's so needed. Now, where can they find you? Where can they find your book? And then I'm going to ask you about a little bit more about the nomination before we end.
Okay. My book can be found right now on Amazon.com. It's here in
Okay.
America. It's also in several countries around the world: Japan, Canada, Great Britain, Poland, Italy, Spain. So they've put me out there internationally. So I'm just glad to see it get out there, and hopefully it's well received. Right now, I'm
Okay.
also working on the process of getting me an author's website built. So that should be up and running pretty soon.
Okay. So, but for right now, they can find you on Amazon.
Amazon. And I've been
Okay.
working, I'm trying to hook up with some independent black bookstores. There's two here in Los Angeles. One is Malik Books, and I just entered into a wholesale deal with them. They're going to carry my book. And there's a new bookshop out in Pasadena. It's about 20 minutes away from LA. And
Okay.
it's black owned. And the sister, she's going to read my book, and hopefully we have a deal going with her too.
Beautiful.
It's getting there.
Yeah. Push it out, man. Push it out.
Yeah,
And,
right.
watch God open doors for you because,
Exactly.
his will, it's going to be done. It has to be done.
Exactly.
And so this is wonderful. Okay. The name of your book?
Original mind disconnect.
Original Mind Disconnect.
Yes.
Okay. All right. How do we come with that name?
You know what? Um, original mind disconnect. Um, I said, okay, original mind. Original mind. Well, Africa is the birthplace of humankind, the first man and the first woman. So that's the first mind, the original mind. The
Okay.
disconnect part comes from what his grandmother, great grandma, the third great grandmother, Sudi, feels that in his pursuit, the protagonist, in his pursuit of wealth and success and whatnot, she feels at some point he's becoming more disconnected from his roots, from what really matters besides money and fame and all that. So that's where the disconnect comes from.
Hmm. Interesting. And this was the one that you had been working on for so many years, and it was just not published?
Yeah, it was published 2021.
2021. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So it's been a couple of years since it came out.
No, no, I said
Um,
2022, 20,
okay. All
May of
right.
2022. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay. So you celebrated a year this year.
exactly. Book birthday.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Original Mind Disconnect. You guys, you can find it on Amazon. As he was talking, I'm typing in the name of his book, and also made sure that you see his name, Mr. Michael Bailey, Original Mind Disconnect, and you can look for it on Amazon. Please make sure you support him. And we have a few more minutes as I'm waiting on the other guests to log on. Talk to us about what this nomination through Distinguished Authors Guild means to you.
What it means to me is all my hard work and all the effort and time I put in over the years, not just with this one particular novel, but writing in general. It lets me know that I'm on the right path and I must be doing something right. And to get recognized, like for my first novel, because I don't know how many people applied for the awards who sent in applications, but to be singled out to be one of three nominees in a category is it's a great thing and lets me know that okay, what I wrote it connected with people and it resonated, and that can't help but to be a good thing all the way around. And I like the
Yeah,
fact that I put forth a story about someone that I don't really see too much of. Is a young black man in his 30s who's very successful, very grounded, very connected to who he is, loves his daughter, loves his girlfriend that he's in a long time relationship with. Um, And that's just not the type of character you see often. And I also want to
Hmm.
make a statement about I think the book walks a fine line between glorifying a certain lifestyle while at the same time being a cautionary tale. So
Okay.
hopefully people will pick up on that and it resonates with them.
Okay. Love it. All right. I see. I see. Listen, do me a favor. Give me a 30-second pitch of your book. 30-second elevator pitch of your book.
Okay. Okay, Original Mind Disconnect is a story that takes place in Los Angeles, present day. And it's about a young, successful African American man who's a sports agent who represents superstar basketball players. Those are his main clients. And one day, out of the blue, life is going good. You know, he has the daughter, the beautiful girlfriend who's successful in her own right, the home and everything that people say makes you a success. And he finds himself visited one day by a woman, elderly woman, who just shows up and he looks away like his eyes are playing tricks. He looks back and she's gone. Soon she shows herself, introduces herself, and tells him that I am Sudi. I'm your third great grandmother. I lived during slavery. And the main reason I'm here is so that you can take up the fight and join the fight for reparations. He butts head. His name is Jericho, Jericho Street. That rubs Jericho the wrong way because he doesn't believe that black people should be waiting around to receive any kind of reparations or uh, money from the government. He believes we should be self sufficient financially and work for ourselves to get our own money without looking for any kind of handout somebody issuing out. She's
Oh,
just as stubborn as he is. So they fight and butt heads and fight and bicker and butt heads until one day she says, I'll have to resort to doing something I didn't want to do. She possesses
oh,
a
wait,
gift of
stop there. Stop
telepathy.
there. Stop there. I don't want you to give it all away. That's good.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. I wanted something to intrigue them. I want them to be able to, go and search for this on Amazon. But that was intriguing though. That's interesting. Because we are talking about the reparations. It seemed like more
Right.
than ever now. And
Time is
so it sounds like your book is going to touch on something that's really really important to each of us, whichever
right.
side of the coin that we're on, whether we feel
Exactly.
like we need to get it, or as he was saying, he think we should do it ourselves. Don't wait on
Uh-huh.
man, so to speak. Okay,
Right,
all
right.
right. Okay. I see you. I see you, Mr. Bailey. I see you. I'm loving this. Listen, guys, let me recognize those of you who have joined us, and I surely appreciate you coming in on today. I think Natalie has joined us. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Also, is that Beatrice? Thank you for liking and sharing. I think Janice was on, and thank you for liking and sharing. This is some good stuff here, and I'm truly appreciative of again you taking time out and joining us on today. You guys, I don't even know if I said at the beginning, we are on live on both of my pages on Facebook, Annette Get Caught in the Net, Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, and also on YouTube at Get Caught in the Net. At the end of this entire segment, we're going to have it uploaded to Intellectual Radio's YouTube channel, which is where Mind, Body, and Soul is housed. That's our radio station with the super duper producer, Earl Winfrey. And then also, we're live on Instagram now as well. So you can't miss a beat. If you're just now joining us and you may have to rewind to listen to Mr. Bailey, then I encourage you to do that because my brother was putting down some stuff today, and I love it. I love it. There was something in your bio. Mm, well, you kind of talked about this about when you write. You also talked about the complexity of human nature. So, what does has that always been that intriguing to you that you felt you would need to write about it in a sense?
Yeah, I believe that's one of the reasons why I'm a writer is because I'm intrigued and interested in human nature. Maybe I don't always like certain people, but I'm
Hmm.
constantly intrigued by human nature and why people do the things they do and why they behave in certain ways when it comes to certain types of situations.
Right.
And what would they do
Okay.
if they had their backs up against the wall? What kind of action would they take?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I get it. I understand. I have always been anybody who knows me. Now I'm all things psychology and I'm always trying to figure out what's going on in somebody's mind and why they're doing this and why they're doing that. So we're kind of right there with that
Uh,
same mentality. So yeah, I
right.
get it. I totally get it. Because I'm always trying to figure out what in the world, why are they doing this? And what's the reason behind it? Is there a background to it? I'm always
A
trying to
backstory. Right.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm, I'm always looking deeper and further. Can you give us some encouraging words before you leave on today? Something I know you encouraged those who maybe are looking to be authors or who have been, kind of procrastinating about it, but maybe just something in general, just to encourage us before you exit on today.
Well, in writing, like in all endeavors, if there's something you want to shoot for, if there's something that you really feel that's in your spirit to go out there and make it happen, I say just go ahead. Go ahead and make it happen. Clear your mind, whether it's negative self-talk, whether it's negative talk or discouragement from other people, and just focus on what it is that you want to go for. Put on the blinders and have that tunnel vision, and just focus in and go for it. Go for it.
Hmm.
And it's not going to come easy. It's going to take work, but I believe in the end, I'm looking at my own life that it was well worth the effort and the time.
Right. Okay. Okay. I love it. Well, those have been some encouraging words, and you have actually encouraged us throughout this interview on today. So I want to say thank you and congratulations again to
Congratulations to you.
you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. This is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing, and then you're amongst other authors. You're able to meet and network. I think this is a great thing that Distinguished Authors Guild has. And then, of course, we all know, and I'm just throwing this in now. That the proceeds from the tickets will go towards scholarship. I think they're trying to
Right.
get 10 scholarships, $1,000 each for college freshmen. So, you guys, it would just absolutely be wonderful if you would be able to purchase. You can purchase a virtual ticket or ticket in person. Now, y'all know y'all want to go to Vegas, so y'all come on with us. We encourage you to do so. Now, Mr. Bailey, are you going to be in Vegas?
uh, if all goes according to plan, yes, I will be there.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to meet you in person because I will be attending,
Same here, you too.
and we'll
Yes.
we'll be able to network a little bit further. So, thank you again. I appreciate you, and I bid you Godspeed, and pray that God will just continue to bless you.
Thank you. You do the same. All good blessings and good luck to you too.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. That again was Mr. Michael Bailey as he's exiting. We're just appreciative and thankful. All right, he got a peace sign up. All right. So he is the author again. Let me go back here. Oh my goodness. I had it here. I had it here. Y'all, did y'all see in the comment section where I had the title? Uh-oh. All right, here it is right here. Annette's gonna get this together. Original Mind Disconnect. All right, it's on the screen, guys. It's on the screen. Michael Bailey, Original Mind Disconnect, and you can find it on Amazon. So even as I'm talking, y'all know y'all can open up another little browser and go to Amazon real quick and get the book, purchase the book, support my brother. He's doing a great thing, and we are grateful. We are so grateful. So now we're going to switch up a little bit and we're going to bring on another author that has been nominated by Distinguished Authors Guild. Natalie is in the virtual house. I'm going to bring her on the stage right now. And I do say switching up because we did have another individual that was another author, but I'm not sure what happened with them. So we have Natalie going to come to the stage. Natalie is in the house.
Hey, Nat.
How
How
are
are
you?
you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Guys, welcome Natalie Murphy in. Oh my goodness. This woman, I'm telling you the truth. I think my first acquaintance with her, we had a Zoom call and I saw her picture on the Zoom, and underneath it, it said author Natalie Murphy. And I went to my thing and I changed it and I said author Natalie. So you influenced me in a good way.
Okay. Well,
I was like, that's
good.
great. Because you know what? I guess at this point, I mean, I think you've written, I don't know how many books by now, but I've only
7.
written one. And so it's still sinking in, to be totally honest with you, that I'm an author, right? And I'm like, okay, she's got a good point. Author Annette Harris.
So that's one of those things that Gina has taught me because, like she said, when I first started doing this thing, I was like, I always tell people, I'm always a pip.
Okay.
I'm in the background, and Gina was like, you got to get out there and let people know. You got to talk about you. You can sell yourself better than anybody else.
Okay.
And so I stopped because I had a hard time saying award-winning author because I was like, wow, that sounds so hefty. And she was like, but you are. So
Yeah.
I start putting it out there, author, award-winning author, letting people know. Because if I don't let people know who I am and what I do, how are they going to know?
How they gonna know? That's so true. Girl, you
Yeah.
ain't said nothing but a word right there, okay? Because I'm telling you, I was like, I was really inspired by that. And then
Good.
listening to you, you're such a bubbly person. You're so encouraging, and that's wonderful. And even in this author journey that I'm on, it's encouraging. Because you want to be accepted. You want to be able to
Exactly.
connect and network, but sometimes. Some people are not just, they're not too,
They're
okay,
not
well,
open and friendly and accepting. Yeah. And
yeah,
you gotta have a thick skin for that. That-
okay.
And that's
I
something I'm still learning.
I think we all are as we're living this life,
Yeah.
period. Yeah.
Right. Because nobody likes to be rejected.
Exactly, exactly. Let me read a little bit about you to
Okay.
let my audience know who you are. Those who are listening live and that will come and listen after this show is over. This is Natalie R. Murphy. She's an award-winning romance novelist, and y'all, I'm telling you, y'all, if a surprise. Okay, she's a wife of 37 years, mom of three, and new to the Empty Nesters Club. Okay, girl. Um, Sounds like she's pretty excited about that one. She says she's a through and through romance junkie. Potato chips are her weakness. She collects unicorns, dolphins, mermaids. She loves music, photography, and jumping double dutch. Okay. She's from back in the day, and I see that.
Yeah.
It says she started her writing journey during the pandemic, which I think a lot of authors have, but this
Mhm.
is good. What I'm seeing here, she says after fighting with God for 3 weeks, is that right?
Yes.
Mm, mm, mm. She said losing that battle was one of her greatest triumphs because to date she has written seven. Did you hear me, guys? Seven, the number of completion. Written
Yes.
seven romance novels, three of which have won literary awards, and two of the three have won Distinguished Authors Guild Awards. This is
Yes.
wonderful. As a self published author, I have also, this is her talking, created a self publishing workshop called From Pen to Published, The Road to Self Publishing. This workshop walks writers step by step through the process of becoming a self published author. And then Love Beyond the Waves is the one that's been nominated for the 2023 DAG Award. Now, you heard me. We had to distinguish what year it was, okay? Because she's won a couple of them, all right? But this is wonderful. And you can find her book at natsbooks.net. Is that correct?
Correct.
And also, she has an online bookstore. We're going to make sure that we put that into the comment section so you guys can follow her and purchase her book. And now all of the books are on there, right?
Yes. Yes. Natsbooks.net is my website. So you can get all of my books there. And I also have a free booklet that I put out there, just a whim of a thing that I did. It's called As the Water Flows, The Diary of a Showerhead. So it's a shower's head perspective of what he sees on a daily basis with people that get in the shower. So
Oh,
that one's
yeah.
free, and it's a riot.
It sounds like it is. And I think we were on, was it Shanna's show? Um, no,
um,
no, no, no. It was on Gina's show, I believe. And I
yes,
think you were talking
yes,
about.
Dope Living
Uh, I'm
Live.
sorry. The nominees are all over the place, y'all. We interviewing a different different platform, interviewing and being interviewed. But I know she talked about that. Oh my goodness, I almost fell out my seat because it just sounded so hilarious. And I need to get my hands on it because it just sounds like something that is very a conversation starter and would probably just
Yes.
have you just cracking up laughing. So this is good stuff. All right, let's just jump in here. Guys, again, welcome Natalie to the show. She is again one of the nominees for Distinguished Authors Guild, and she's doing great stuff. So let's back up. You said during the pandemic was when you started your writing journey. So that was the first time you ever started writing a book, or had you started before and then maybe it just came back up during the pandemic?
I've had writings, um, never really a book. Like I've written my first real writing was a poem that I wrote for my high school sweetheart. So since then, periodically, I wrote poetry, and I've written a couple of children's kind of, I guess what you call like booklets, that not real big books or anything. But I never thought about doing anything with that.
Okay.
Um, and during the pandemic, I woke up one morning because I'm an early riser, so I'll lay in bed and plan my day out, kind of get an idea what I'm going to do. And this storyline came to my head, and the names Jabari and Shannon, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that." And as this story
Got
started,
you excited, huh?
yeah, it did. And as this story started to develop, clear as day, I heard God say, "Write the story." I went, "Mm-mm, I'm not going to do that." Seriously, I did. I said, "I'm not going to do that." And every day for about 3 weeks, the story kept developing, and God kept saying, "Write the story." And I'm like, oh, he's not letting this go. And I gave him every excuse under the sun. I don't know anything about writing professionally. I don't know anything about publishing a book. I don't know who to talk to. And so finally, excuse me, when I finally caved, I was like, "Okay, Lord, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
But you gonna have to sit in front of that computer with me because you know I don't type." So me and these fingers here started pecking on the computer. And in about 3 months, I had a completed story. And I was like, I knew I liked it. And 'cause I'm a diehard romantic. This came from me, from my heart. So of course I liked it. So I let one of my girlfriends read it, who's very honest with me, who's an avid reader. And she was like, "Nat, girl, you got to do something with this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I let my mom and my sister read it, and they said the same thing. So fortunately for me, I love doing research. So I started researching, getting a book published. And that's how I got through this process.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. You had a couple of good things going for you there. One of which you're able to allow a friend to read
Yeah.
over it and to kind of give you that push that, yeah, I need to do it. Because God had
Yes.
been telling you all this time and you just kept
I
you
was
just
like, "No,
kept saying no.
I'm not getting ready to do that." I don't know why I
What was
thought
your
I was
hindrance though?
that I had never. Okay, again, I'm a pip. Now, for me to put a book out there, I got to come up in the front. I got to
You're
be
right.
on front line. So I was thinking about, well, if I do this, how
Uh-huh.
do I get what's in my head on paper to Annette understanding my vision, to my mom understanding my vision, to people I don't know understanding my vision? And
Yeah.
again, there's that rejection. What if they don't like it? So though
Yep.
that was a big hindrance for me. And it just stepping out and doing something I've never done before. And
Okay.
whereas I had a support system, none of them had ever done it. So none of them could coach me or guide me in it. So
Right.
it was pretty scary. It really was.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, because we're typically we don't want anybody messing with our comfort zone.
Exactly.
If we're there,
Exactly.
it's like you were mentioning about, you were Pip, your comfort zone is to be in the background. I
Right.
love that. I love that analogy. I probably have to use that. I love that analogy. She's a Pip. She don't want to be out in front. And
Right.
but God is like, no, but I need you to do this.
Yes.
Why do you feel that God kept insisting? Um, because a lot of times He'll tell us to do something, and God, sometimes He'll linger on with us or whatever. Why I'd be like, okay, let me get somebody else to do it. Why do you think
Right.
that He insisted and kept telling you that you need to write this?
Because with all the ills going on in the world, and especially during the time of the pandemic, when people are depressed and we're sheltered in, with all the craziness in this world, there needs to be an outlet. We need an escape. And that's what my books are. My books are an escape because even I don't care how much money you have, I don't care what neighborhood you live in, we go through trials and tribulations. And sometimes we need to say, hey, I need a happily ever after. I need something that's going to touch my heart and make me smile. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what my books do. I've always been a dreamer like that. And I always felt like, why can't, when that whole Rodney King thing came about and everybody was like, oh, they laughing at him because he said, can't we all just get along? But that's
Right.
always been my thought. Why can't we all just get along?
Yep.
And if we can't get along and love each other, why can't we?
Yeah.
So the reality of it is we know the enemy is out there and he's not going to
Hmm.
allow that to happen. So my books are to give just a little bit of relief from all the animosity in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need that. We definitely need that. Uh,
And that's why I believe he had me to do it, because he's like, okay, you're the one with the sappy little heart. Let me let's get some of that out there in the world.
Beautiful. See, God knows us too, and He knows what we're
Absolutely.
able to spread around. Like
Yes.
you said, you sappy
Yes.
little heart, girl. You are just so. I think I love you because you just so you just transparent and you just put it out there. It don't even matter. And almost like you kind of feel like God's got my back. I may look a
Absolutely.
little crazy, but I
Absolutely.
know He got my back.
Yes. I have no doubt.
Right, right, right. So let me ask you the same question that I've asked our previous nominees that were on. Um, has your life been influenced by your experiences, or your experiences been influenced by your life?
Wow. Um, my life has been influenced by my experiences. I mean,
Okay, how
because life gives you lots of experiences, and and people ask, what inspires me to write? How do I get my writing? A lot of what I write are things that I have experienced to a small degree. Now, I don't want anybody to think that these are actual stories, because they're not.
right, right.
But it may be a little pinch here and a little pinch there from my life, things I've experienced, things that I've seen, that pull it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And this experience with DAG has really, really influenced my life.
Beautiful.
Before DAG, before the pandemic, before I wrote these books, this is not the person you would have been talking to. You
Really?
would, yeah, and you would have had a hard time pulling, knowing that there are people out there watching, people I don't know, you would have had a hard time pulling information out of me.
Okay. Okay. Because I was about to ask, would you be able would be able to talk to you at all? Are you kind of like one that would be in the shell or stay in the shell, or
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I was comfortable in my circle, like you said. We're all comfortable there. Don't mess with our comfort zone, and that's where I stayed. But this writing journey has pulled me so far out of my comfort zone,
yeah?
so far.
Wow, that's good stuff, though. That's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Again, God knows who we are. He knows what we're made of and what we're capable of, and what we can do. We put that restriction on ourselves.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad He kept tugging at you. I really am. Because and you're right. Just sometimes we do need that comedic relief. If you will. We're
Yeah.
going through so much, and we were shut down for about a few years or whatever. As a world, as a nation, different, all over, and so we were hindered.
Right.
We looked at we couldn't do the things that we normally would do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Our lives pretty much came to a halt.
Hmm.
um, and so, yeah, and so many people lost so many loved ones, and their lives
Right.
just changed, and now they're looking at a new normal, now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bringing in that comedic relief, God knew. He knew exactly what we
Absolutely.
needed. But yeah, that's good stuff. Let me ask you about your family.
Okay.
You mentioned that you're an empty nester now. And so when we talk about family, we know that they know us intimately. They know who we are and what we have done in the past. Was it a huge change for them to see you make this, like, kind of 180 turn and start doing this now? Was it a change for them, and how did they react?
I don't think it was a change for them because this is who I was with them.
Okay, okay.
So they knew me this way. But when they read my books, they were like, "Whoa!" Especially my sister. She was like, "I didn't know you could write like that." And she's one of my biggest advocates. She tells everybody she's an award-winning romance novelist. She writes books, So she's like, and they're really good. And she's not a romance reader,
Okay.
but I've got her hooked on mine. So, and my mom wasn't much of a reader, but she's like really into my books now. She read what she needed to read, but like for enjoyment. But I've got her pulled along too with my books.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
beautiful. What about your
yeah.
children?
So my oldest daughter, now she's a graphic artist. She created the covers of my first two books. So
Oh,
yeah, that's awesome. Um,
wonderful.
but her life got busy, so she wasn't able to continue working with me. But she's my avid reader. She,
Okay.
as a child, this girl could go. That girl would eat books. We got to the point we stopped buying them because she was going to read us out of house and home.
Now that's funny. That's funny.
And
Okay.
my other two, my son and my youngest daughter, they're not big readers, but they are
Mhm.
definitely fans of mine. Now my baby girl did read. She read the first book and she
Okay.
enjoyed it. My son, yeah, romance is not his thing at all. But he is definitely one of my biggest supporters. This kid is 26 years old and he'll come sit on my lap like he's 5. So
Oh, my,
so
my,
they may not read them, but they are definitely supporters.
okay. Okay. Now, you know what? Their generation and maybe after, I think a lot of them probably migrate toward the audio. Do they migrate toward audiobooks as opposed to actually reading them? Do you
No, not my
know?
younger two. No.
Okay.
My son's very much into sports, so he listens to a lot of sports podcasts.
Mm,
And actually my baby girl is too. She's a basketball player and she plays in the band at school where she's attending.
okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
I only actually had one really avid reader, and that was my oldest.
That was the oldest.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. Yeah, I will say this about me. When I was young, oh my God, romance novels were the ultimate. I loved reading them,
Yep.
all the time. And I'm like, and I don't know. I was just, I don't know. I migrated to it. I was just attracted to it and just enjoyed reading it. So yeah, I can understand those who are romance novel buffs. They
I
were really
figured
enjoying.
I say that I was destined to be a romance reader and writer because my dad was an avid reader. Got that from him.
Oh,
My mom loved romance movies. Our first romance movie was West Side Story. As a matter of fact, she named me after Natalie Wood, the actress in.
is she?
Yes, yes. And I have put together. So my middle initial is R.
Uh-huh.
My maiden name was Johnson, which is J. So I have superficially changed my name to Natalie Romance Junkie Murphy.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Are you serious? Oh my
Yes, yes.
goodness.
So it's no wonder that I ended up in writing and reading romance. It's just
It was destined.
it
It
was
was
destined,
destined.
no way around it.
Wow. Oh wow. That's interesting. I'm wondering, did you ever think that, I mean, did you ever think it would happen? That you end up as
No,
a
it wasn't
romance
even a plan. That was nowhere on my radar to be a published author.
author? Mm.
The poetry that I wrote, I still have that. One of those children's stories that I wrote somewhere in one of my computers. Never thought this would happen.
Really?
Mm, was not a
Okay. Okay.
plan.
Mm. Interesting. That's very interesting. I love it. I love this conversation. So that this is good to know, about you and about your background. And as I was talking to Michael earlier, sometimes we may start off writing and then push it to the side or
Mhm.
whatever, or maybe years later. But yeah, so you never thought you would become one. That's
I
interesting.
didn't. And I never thought I'd be doing a workshop because
Okay.
teaching people how to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Um, because I just felt like all that information that I garnered in that process, there's no way God meant for me to keep that to myself.
Mm.
So I have started doing the workshops. I've done two so far. And one of my attendees has already published her book.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
so let me back up a little bit. I know you said your daughter did your graphics for your first 2 novels.
Hmm.
So you obviously self-published. Did you self-publish all your books?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Um, because in my research, I compared traditional publishing with self-publishing.
okay.
And I just found that self-publishing was more for me. I get to set my own timelines. One of the things that I found with traditional publishing is, first of all, you have to get an agent. You got to get a literary agent. They cost money.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, and your stuff can be out there for 2, 3 years before anybody even looks at it. And
Okay.
then at that point they can say no. So I'm like, again, I don't want to be rejected. I'm gonna do my own thing. So and I just found that self-publishing was more for me because, again, I was in control of everything. I set the timelines. If I pay for an editor, then it's on me to decide if I need this editor to be work a little faster, or if
Right.
it's all on me. I do the editor that I have, I love her because she so gets my vision. And when she gives me options, well, this doesn't sound good here, maybe this, that, and the other, I have the option to say, I don't want that. I want it to stay
Right.
as is. And I
Right.
just feel like I had more control as a self-published author than traditionally published.
Okay, okay. And everybody's experience is different. I
Mhm.
get it. So that's encouraging. And everybody will probably not self-publish and vice versa. So, it
Right.
depends upon what, is best for them. Just like you said,
Absolutely.
you brought out the reasons why it's good for you. Um, I myself, I'm just gonna be honest, child. I didn't want to deal with all that extra stuff,
And I
because
get
it's
that.
my
Man,
first.
I get that.
Yeah, and it was my first time, and then you're nervous, like you mentioned earlier. My family knows what I can do, but now this has got to go out to the world. Basically,
Right.
you don't want anything wrong. You don't want anything misspelled. Does this make sense? And I had, I don't know how many proofs, editors, professional and personal,
Right.
that was put in
Right.
my book before it came out, because I'm like, I can't. You wanna put forth your best foot. You want
Right.
to do everything in the spirit of excellence. And if you are
Absolutely.
saying that you're a child of God and God told me to do this, God don't put out no junk. So you
Hello.
have to be careful. So I was very adamant about that. So I can understand. And then also because of the content of what I wrote about and how, it was so personal to me. And I literally had to relive everything. To be honest, Natalie, I was drained by the time I was done writing. By the time that
Okay.
last word went, I was just exhausted,
I'm
because I
sure.
literally, emotionally, in every way. So I'm like, I thank God for my publisher,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, just taking the reins and doing everything. I didn't have to worry about going to get the ISBN and everything that goes into that. I didn't have to do all of
Mm-hmm.
that. They proofed
Mm-hmm.
and stuff from everything. So I'm just grateful, to be able to have that had that chance to work with somebody like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
talk
it's a
about
time consuming process as well.
yeah, yeah.
So, and
I can
I'm
imagine.
blessed to not have to work a 9 to 5. So I had the time to do the research and do everything, walk through it step by step. So
Yeah.
yeah, publishing, it just really depends on what your needs are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So then in your workshops, talk about these workshops a little bit. I mean, obviously this was, your baby. It was birthed through your
Yeah.
experiences. So what do you hope to accomplish? And I know you already mentioned about one of your attendees have already published their own books. Maybe talk about that a little bit, or just in general, maybe in a nutshell, what do you hope to accomplish with these workshops?
So with these workshops, my goal is to help people who want to self-publish go through the process a little easier than I did, because it was a
Mm,
struggle for me because I had to do all the pros and cons, the comparisons and the contrasting. And this cuts that out for them. This
okay.
also gives them a network of people to work with because
Hmm.
they connect with other soon to be self published authors during the workshops. And then I also follow up with them to see where they are, to try to encourage them to keep going, because it does get us to be a struggle. And like you said, for those books that are emotional, those people get drained and they put them
Yep.
down and don't want to get back to them. But the thing
Hmm.
is, I believe that everybody who God has said, write the story, has to get that story out there because somebody is sitting out there waiting for that story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I want to get out. I want people to start the process and finish the process without a whole lot of um the yucky stuff in the middle.
Right, right, right. And no, that's a good thing. I mean, you're taking off that pressure off of them. Depending upon, what it is that their book is about. So that's a good thing. And I think it's wonderful for you to be giving like that. I mean, you're giving back and you're paying it forward. You
Yeah,
know what you had to deal with, and so you want to help somebody else, so that they, like you said, that they won't start and stop. Because
right.
it could get to that,
Yeah,
a lot of times you're writing depending, you're like, okay,
right.
I got to this point, but I got all that long way to go. And that's just a little bit
Exactly, exactly. And I've heard
overwhelming.
people say that they've had their books, they started 10 years ago, they started 12 years
Yeah.
ago, and they're still sitting on the shelf. And I just feel
Mm,
that's because they didn't have that support system. They didn't have somebody to say, it's okay to put it down for now, but don't leave it there. Go back and get
right,
it.
right. And then the resources, having the
Exactly.
resources to be able to
Right.
get it out there. Oh, this is good stuff, good stuff. I'm telling you, y'all, I got me a new friend over here. This
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me see here. You guys that are on, I think, who was that came in? I think I appreciate you coming in. Is that Demetria? Hey, girl. Hey, she says she's listening. I know some of you will be able to come back and listen to the entire segment of all my guests in its entirety a little bit later. And some are on live, some are listening on their lunch break, and I do appreciate that. If you have any questions or comments for my guests on today as you're listening, go ahead and throw it into the comment section. We'll make sure that they're tagged and they can be able to come back and uh, share with you, maybe answer the question that you've given them, or if you just want to congratulate them. This is wonderful. Again, we're talking to the nominees for Distinguished Authors Guild 2023. And we know we're so excited for this gala that's coming up, the award
Yes.
show, if you will. And, it's just a blessing, as I stated earlier in that segment with Michael. It's a blessing to be able to network with other authors and, kind of talk with them about their journey, about their book, or books in your case. And so make sure you guys, if you see on the screen, Nat's Books, Nats, NATSBOOKS.net is where you can find all of her books. If you did not hear it earlier, she's written 7. She has 7 books, and she has, and what do you call it, an article or something that you wrote also
Oh,
about?
my little booklet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
as
And
the
she has
work flows.
She has a book. Every time, I don't know why. Every time I hear, I just laugh. Every time I hear about that,
Because
it's
it was
called,
such a riot on Dope Living TV when we did it, when I mentioned it.
that's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. And it just cracks me up. But it's wonderful that are continuing to push on. Do you feel that there are more books in your future?
I do. I absolutely do.
Okay, okay. Because Gina talks about you a lot. She said this is one she was shy and she didn't really want, but now look at her. And I'm like, okay, this is wonderful. So you know what? To be honest with you, they asked me that question: do I see any more books in my future? I'm like, I don't object to it, but that ain't sure ain't what my mind is.
Well, see, as a romance writer, my mind is triggered by so much, but
Yeah.
should I say by being a fiction writer?
Okay.
So when I see things or people say things, I get triggered. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's a thought. And then like some people are here write like 2 and 3 at a time. I can't do that. So I have to
Okay.
put that idea to the side and get back to it later. But yeah, I get triggered by all kinds of things. It's like, yep, that sounds like a story. That sounds
Wow.
like a good one.
Wow. Do you ever think that any of your books maybe will turn into a stage play or a movie or anything like that? I'm just asking that
um,
question.
and I'm just putting out in the atmosphere. Yes. I would absolutely love that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I have been acquainted with a few film producers, directors, and everything. So those of you that are listening, Natalie,
Yes.
putting it out in the atmosphere. I love it. I love it. So, before writing books, what would you say your passion was?
Well, I still have those same passions, just not doing it as much. But I worked in childcare for 22 years.
Okay.
I love kindergarten and under. I love kids. Once they turn 6, well, maybe 7, then we should ship them off to an island somewhere because they get mouthy and
That's hilarious.
but but
Wow.
I love kids and photography. I was a photographer for about 12 years. Pandemic shut that down.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to do my photography like I wanted to. But I
Hmm.
did see an idea and I ran with it during the pandemic. It was called Portraits on a Porch. So what that was I would I put it out on my social media and people would contact me to take pictures on
Okay.
the porch with their families because we couldn't go out. So we take portraits on the porch, and that
Oh,
was to kind of like a memory of that time, but it gave them an opportunity to get out of the house and have some fun because they weren't just the standard let's just take the family picture. They it was during graduation time. I really love doing graduation time because they decorate the yards and they'd have their pictures, the graduates dressed up and things like that. So that was a lot of fun to do during the pandemic. And then I get donated the proceeds from that to a organization that fed homeless families.
oh, beautiful,
So
beautiful.
yeah, so I
Okay.
I just moved to Arizona, so I'm not
Okay.
doing my photography as much right now. But I'm waiting for this weather to break just a little bit. But I want to get out and start taking pictures because Arizona is absolutely gorgeous.
So wait a minute, what kind of weather you have now?
Oh, today I think it's supposed to be 95. Oh, and it's cooled
Meanwhile,
off. It's cooled off since I've been here. When we moved in August, it was 117 degrees the day we moved here. And that's pretty much how August went. September, pretty much. Yeah. So today's a cool day.
oh my God. So you lived. I see why you at home. You live in the air condition.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a friend of
Absolutely.
mine. Her mom just moved. I call her mom, my mom as well. Her and her husband just moved to Arizona. Well, I think they've celebrated a year being there. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Um, and she's like, "When y'all coming? When when the weather to go south?"
Yes, because it's a little warm right about now. I'm not complaining though. I'm not,
Okay,
because I am over the ice and the snow in Chicago. I'm so over that.
I
So
can imagine. What made you
yeah.
want to move there? Like, I know we're talking about something else, but what made you want to move to Arizona?
Okay, so I didn't. Because it's too hot. I am not a hot weather person. I love the fall.
Okay.
Um, but my husband, since I met him, has always wanted to move somewhere warm.
Okay.
So he gave me 37 years in Chicago. Well, I was born and raised in Chicago, but we stayed there. And I never wanted to move out of Chicago because I didn't want to leave my family. Well,
Mhm.
my brother moved to Arizona and about 4 years ago, he and his wife. And last year, my mom and my sister moved to Arizona. So they left me. So I had to come back. I had to get to my family.
Look, I guess you came back to your husband. Okay, we can go now.
Exactly. Exactly. I was like, I got the perfect place for us to go.
Wow. So are you guys at like in the same city?
Yes.
Okay.
My brother and I are. My brother's about 5 minutes away, and my mom and my sister about 20 minutes away.
That's not bad.
No,
That's not
not at
bad.
all.
And
That's better
everybody
than
likes
like
it?
a whole few states away across the country.
Wow. Okay, all right. Now we didn't get off talking about weather and everything and different states we live in. But that's interesting. Okay, okay, all right. Now,
Yeah,
have
so
you
this
ever
is a
doubted
new thing.
what
I'm
was
sorry.
that?
I was gonna say this is a new thing for me though, and this brings us back to the books because I had a following in Chicago. I don't have a following here in Arizona, and my newest book is I'm releasing it on the 21st of this month.
Okay.
So again, another leap out there where I'm just totally depending on God to make this book signing a success because I don't know a lot of people out here.
Yeah. Well, that's okay because I mean, obviously, you were blessed, like you said, to have a following here, and that's because obviously of the content. You know,
Mhm.
folks in Arizona they like romance too. I'm sure. You
Absolutely,
know,
absolutely.
and I'm sure it won't be difficult to do that. It's just you're just in a new area now, and so you just have to
Right,
adjust. And
right, right.
if that sister is the one that you said been really pushing and promoting you, I'm sure she'll help you out. You know, with
Yes,
the book
she
signing.
is.
Right, right. I love it. I love it. And that's beautiful. Again, it's so important to have that support behind you. I promise
It
you it
really
is.
is.
But yeah, that's good stuff. So I was going to ask you, have you ever doubted yourself in your ability and what to do?
Oh, absolutely,
And how
absolutely.
did you handle it?
Because again, I have nothing to compare it to, and nobody that I know.
Okay.
So it's like my writing is one thing that I've always been confident in. I've always been in my educational career, English, social studies, anything that required writing and researching, I was A+ student with that. So I was okay with that. It was the rest of it. Am I going to be able to step out of this comfort zone and talk to
Hmm.
people and tell people about my book? Am I going to be able
Okay.
to go to events and actually sell my book to people? And are they, I know I like it, but are they really going to like it? So yeah, I've doubted
Mhm.
it. It's like, who do you think you are? When I first started, who do you think you are going to put a book out there somebody's going to read? But if you don't do it, you never know.
That's true. That's true. You're so right. And then, I mean, I'm sorry, I keep going back to that encouragement because even, I mean, I can understand what you're saying. You're like, okay, it's here, it's finished, but how are they going to receive it? And
Right.
then when you get, those encouraging words from family and friends, maybe whether it's at the book signing
Exactly.
or otherwise, or even reviews on the various platforms that your books are sold. That gives you, kind of give you
Yeah.
some wings there, kind of
Exactly.
pump you up a little bit and
Right.
encourages you. So that
Exactly.
is so good to hear because we have to silence those doubts, that go on in our head because we are our biggest critic.
Yes.
And we're always no. I always tell people when I started this radio show, we'll be celebrating 10 years in November. But in
Oh,
the first year,
congratulations.
thank you. In the first year, child, I'm gonna tell you was it like maybe like a whole month straight
Mm.
um that I started the show. Every time I would end, and I laugh at myself now. Every time I would end a segment, I would always go back to God. Are you sure this is what you want me to do?
I get that. I
Yeah,
get that. I still do that. Yes. Yes.
right. And it's not like, I mean, you're not, little loopy or whatever, but this is like you just want to make sure that you're in his will, you're doing exactly what he
Yes.
wants you to do. And
Yes.
then, of course, how you're received with people as well. You want to be able to do exactly what he wants so they will receive what he wants them to
Yes.
receive.
Yes.
I always say it has nothing to do with me at all. I ain't got nothing to do with none of this. This is all about God.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
so, so
Exactly.
yeah, I get it. I get it. Starve those doubts. Starve them. Keep it moving.
Yes.
Keep it moving.
I like that. Starve the doubts. I like that.
Yeah, man. It's so important. It's so important. Let's see. What difference do you endeavor to make, whether it's with your books, your workshops, um, or whatever else you got going on? What difference do you endeavor to make in people's lives?
I want to be an encourager. I want people to know who they are, to be encouraged in what they're doing, to take the chance and getting out there and doing something different, whatever it is in their heart. I want to be able to help them say, yeah, I can do this. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't need glory from it at all. I just, I just like knowing, I just feel like that's part of what I'm supposed to do, encourage people. And,
yeah.
and in that also gives them that love to, that we're supposed to be loving one another. So
Hmm.
that's my way of giving my portion of love, is to support and encourage. And I hope that I do make that difference in someone's life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're doing it. You're well on your way, hon. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
I know you and I just met, but I just love your spirit. I really do, and I love the fact that you want to help people and you are encouraging to them. I already
Thank
said when
you.
we started off, you encouraged me. I saw that. I was like, okay, let me just change this.
Gotta
So
let
you
people
are
know.
right. So you are igniting others or whatever, so you're telling me, girl, you need to push yourself more, out there. So I love it. I love it. I love again your spirit. So
Thank
let's see.
you.
Okay, so you have next steps. I know you said your book is coming out, your latest book is coming out October 21st.
October
Is that correct?
21st. Yes. Sweetest
Okay.
day.
That's right. It sure is. Go ahead. I see you, romance novelist. I see you. Okay, and so what's the name of that book?
So the name of that book is To Be Loved by Blue. That's it there.
Ooh,
And
I
it's
love that
about,
cover. Put that book
thank
back up
you.
there. Put that book back up there. Uh-huh, uh-huh. I like that. Ooh,
Yes, so it's
okay.
about Antoinette Tony Kennedy. She has no plans for love in her life. She's done with it. She's been disappointed by all the police officers in her life. She seems to be attracted to police officers. which is where the blue, to be loved by blue, comes in. And
Okay.
then she meets Officer Darius Johnson, who's full of corny pickup lines, and she can't seem to shake him. And
Ooh.
so they go through their thing. There's a lot of bantering between the two. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, yeah.
But then they happen up on a dog fighting ring. So
Mm.
they,
You want to
yeah.
leave it there?
So
You want to leave it there?
we're gonna leave it there.
Leave it there. Leave it there. Okay, I
But it's a
got you.
happily ever after. All of my books are happily ever after because I'm just a happily ever after kind of girl.
Yes. If y'all didn't hear her already, she is a romance junkie. Okay. So
Yes,
I
absolutely. Romance
right.
is my drug.
That's a good drug. That's a good drug. And wait a minute.
Absolutely.
Come on now. You've been married how long? 37?
37 years, yes.
37 years. Okay, so she has the papers to prove it.
Yep, you're not married 37 years for nothing.
Okay. A lot of give and take, compromise, uh,
Yes,
mo-
ma'am.
moving to Arizona. Now let me stop.
Right.
No, this
Right.
that's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Nelly, this has been such a pleasure. I'm telling you,
I've
thank you so
enjoyed
much for
myself.
joining me
Thank
on
you.
today. And thanks for coming in earlier. She was due on at 1 o'clock, but we had her come in a little bit earlier because our other guests didn't make it. But
No
you filled in
problem.
that time perfectly. So thank you so much for sharing with
Sure.
us. And congratulations again on your nomination. And we
Thank
just pray that
you.
God will just continue to bless you in everything you go to say and do.
Yes, thank you. Same to you. And I look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you in Vegas.
Yes, yes, ma'am. We gonna get it. We're gonna have our red on. We gonna
Yes,
come on
I already
now.
got mine.
Me too. Me too. Well, that'll be so wonderful. So thank you
Yeah.
again for taking time out and sharing with us on today. I'm going to bring in our next guest soon, but I just appreciate you and just bid you Godspeed. You take care of
Thank
yourself.
you. Same to you.
All right. All right. All right, guys. As you see on the screen, Natalie Lady Shutterbug Murphy. That's a Facebook name, y'all. All right, but all 7 of her books, you can go to www.natsbooks.net. It's on the screen. So make sure you reach out to her and you purchase her books. Support her. Again, she has workshops, and they can find your information about your workshops on your website.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. All right, guys, go to natsbooks.net and you will catch up with Natalie and you won't be disappointed. All right. Take
Thank
care,
you.
Natalie. All
You
right.
too. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye bye. All right, guys, as she's exiting off the stage, we're going to bring in our final guest on today. Woo! Annette's been talking a whole lot today, y'all. And I appreciate you all coming in with me on today. I know Demetria Brand Triplet says she was listening. Greetings from Elder Kevin McGee. Thank you so much. And then Shana, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but thank you. I appreciate you, my fellow radio show host and fellow nominee. She says, good afternoon to everyone. So thank you. Now we're going to bring in my final guest on today, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Tommy. Oh, he got his full
Yes.
name. It's not just Greg, it's Gregory. Y'all see that on screen?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's how you started
Gregory.
out, right?
That's right. That's right. How are you doing, sir?
I am wonderful. How about yourself?
I am doing so great. I am doing great. It is such a wonderful time talking with all the Distinguished Author Guild nominees, and it's just such a pleasant. It's a pleasant thing to be able to meet you guys, whether it's virtually, and hopefully we'll get a chance to meet a lot of people in person in November. But I'm glad you're on. Thanks for taking the time out on today
Thank
to
you
come
for the
and talk with
opportunity.
us. Well, you're so welcome. Now, do me a favor. Can you talk to us a little bit about who Mr. Gregory Thomas is?
Well, Greg Thomas is a 28-year veteran in the public school system here in
Oh,
Plano, Texas.
okay.
I'm also a basketball coach, and I work with at-risk kids.
Do you?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love it. Okay. That's interesting. All right, now, will you come on here? Because you have quite a bit on this biography that you sent me. So Plano, Texas. Before we start talking about your books, talk to me a little bit about this. Working with at-risk youth.
Well, here, since the pandemic, we've changed the direction with our department. It's called the Plano Attendance Review Board. And what we
Okay.
actually do now is go out and find all the students that are in jeopardy of not graduating and try to get them back into school and get them that extra nudge to continue their education.
Okay. Okay. Now, are these individuals who maybe they've had a rough upbringing at home, or, they just decided, I don't want to have anything to do with school, or is it a combination of that and maybe more?
All the above.
Okay.
We're a
Okay.
suburb of Dallas, and we have every walk of life. Average income is about 110,000, but we have
Mm,
those that are struggling as well.
yeah.
Many second and third households.
Yeah.
So we have all kinds of young people not finishing school and in
Yeah.
jeopardy. They quit school, or we're trying to get them before they quit school to
Mhm.
finish their education.
Okay. Okay. Now, how is this received? You say you kind of look out for those who haven't finished, and you want to try and encourage them to come back. How does that show us how that looks? Now you got this deep voice, okay? So I'm sure you can encourage some,
They,
but
they
are
call
they
me the bounty hunter.
receptive?
They call me the bounty hunter. But it's just showing love. You go find those young people that have quit school, that are working menial jobs.
Okay.
Those that have, like you said, problems at home, run away, uh, and you try to get them to reinvest in their future. And then we
Yeah.
try to, once we get them to finish high school, then we get them to the junior colleges, community colleges, get them into trade programs, whatever can help them become valuable citizens here in the United States.
Okay. Okay. All right, I got you. I understand. And that's good. We need so much more of that, like
Yes,
everywhere, okay?
yes.
Because you kind of look around and see how our youth, they're really suffering. Whether it's because of the environment that they grew up in, or the hand that they were dealt in life. They're suffering, and so then they act out, you know.
Or they just
Um,
quit, or they
yeah,
just quit. We
yeah.
have so many young people just sitting on the couch, just
Wow.
sitting on their couches at home, not working jobs, um,
Hmm.
and sitting up and having 2 and 3 kids before the age of 20. So we're trying to break many, many different cycles,
Yeah.
and once again try to help them to reinvest in their future. And many
Okay.
of our young people are just lost. They don't know how to work hard. They don't know what it's like to persevere. They just stop, and then we
Yeah.
try to find ways to get them back engaged.
Okay. I love it. What attracted you to this particular area of trying to help the at risk?
Actually, I did everything I could possibly do to stay out of public education. I'm a third
Okay.
generation uh, of a graduate and of parents that worked in the public education. And I tried
Mm,
everything I could not to get involved with it. But my junior year in college, I did make some decisions in my studies, and for not completing a couple of classes, my professor in the social work made me take 3 more classes, and then it kind of spurred a hunger to get out and try to help other people help themselves.
okay. Okay. Huh. All right. So a little bit of your, background, that's kind of what, attributed to it. Um, well, that's good, but you said you were trying to stay away from this. That's interesting.
Everything to stay away from public education. You got
Man,
parents that are teachers and principals, grandparents that were teachers and great grandparents. They weren't even supposed to be able to read and write. They were
see,
educated, and
see.
so it was a happenstance, and then it was something that God put me in a position to be, and He had things going on, in my life that I couldn't see, and then he put me where I was, and then we just made the best of it.
Right, right. Okay. All right. So, how do we make this transition from an advocate for at risk youth to an author?
Well, the authorship was 14 months in preparation and working, and 40 years of practice. It took 40 years to get it out. And
Wow.
that's a little bit different, but it only took, during the pandemic, I myself found myself void of time when we only had the students for half a day. And
Mhm.
so I made up that time with 4 hours of writing, rewriting, trying to formulate, getting insight, taking criticism and critiquing, and then putting it back on paper until we, 14 months later, popped the book out.
Wow. Whew, he said, but you did say 40 years of preparation.
40 years of picking it up, putting it down, uh, raising a family, getting frustrated, getting angry at some of the situations that occurred that's in the book, and
Mhm.
then picking back up, and then having children and trying to give them something to aspire to do. Like I said, I'm a fourth generation college graduate. So how do
Okay.
I tell my children to go to school and try to push forward, and my grandchildren if I can't, set that example also? So that's
Right.
why, finally got it to where we can put it on paper, and had an opportunity, and some great assistance. My wife was good. My team that I work with the Plano Independent School District was good. And then having teammates that always said, "Hey, man, you need to make sure you document and put this down. It'll be something to tell." And like I
Right.
said, 40 years later, we put it out there.
40 years later. Okay. How many books do you have?
I have one book now. I will begin the second book probably in April after basketball season in 2024. And then we'll see how long that takes before I work on book number 3. It's already planned. It's already prayed about, and it's going to come to fruition.
Okay, I got you. I hear it. Okay, what's the name of the book that you are that's been published already?
No Doubting Thomas, Hawk Whisperer, My Arkansas Experience. And it details, depicts in my 4 years of being the first starting Black quarterback at the University of Arkansas from 1984 to 1987.
Good Lord. Okay, so I mean, it had to take a little bit of time, right? All right.
Yeah.
So before it came out is what I'm saying. So no doubting Thomas, and you gave some extra stuff after that. Can they search it by no doubting Thomas?
No Doubting Thomas dot Hawk Whisper
Okay.
uh, at gmail.com is where you can find my email address. It's available in audio, in print, and an ebook. Anywhere you purchase your books, so bookstores, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or through me at the no doubting Thomas.hogwhisper at gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I want to put all this in here so
Put
they
it
can either
all in there.
email you.
Put it
No
all in there.
doubting. No doubting.
Yes.
I'm sorry. No doubting. Did you say dot hog whisper?
No doubting Thomas
Okay. I
dot
missed the time.
HAWG hog whisper at
Oh,
gmail.com. See, kind of
okay.
played on my name, Doubting Thomas. That's the
Yeah,
title of the book. Oh, yes, ma'am.
I see that. Okay. I'm
Yes.
going to put this Gmail up, but you also said you're on Amazon and where
Barnes
else?
and Noble, wherever you can purchase the book, you can get it. It's amazing though. If you get it from me, I cut out that middleman. So that's the best part about the whole thing.
Right.
But
And
here's
they can
funny
do
is,
that by emailing you?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You email me there, and it comes straight to me. I'm still working on the website. We're doing school. I got school things I have to do. I don't have time to haven't put that part of my life together yet. But
Okay. Are you able to see the screen? I want to make sure I put that
yes,
up there right.
that
So
is
is that the
correct.
right Gmail?
Whisperer, ER on whisper. Whisper,
Okay.
ER.
All right. We're gonna correct this, guys, because I want to make sure that This is right. ER on Whisper.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. See, you understand the hog whisperer, like I'm telling other secrets. Oh, yes. It took some
Yeah,
time. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
get it. I get it now. I get it. Okay. All
But
right.
they
All
can
right.
purchase it through me if you go there, or you can hit me on Facebook through Messenger. But like I
Mhm.
said, you know, I don't have a problem with Amazon and Barnes and Noble and think that's their good hustle. My hustle is I get 80% when you get it from me.
Come on now.
You see what I'm talking about? And
Come
that
on.
I'm learning the business and
Yeah.
the entrepreneur side of me. You know, get it straight from me. You get the autograph and things like that. You go through Barnes and Noble, you got to catch me around to get it signed and autographed.
So you want that autograph copy. That's what he's trying to tell
Yes,
y'all. Okay.
yes,
All
yes.
right. I love it. And he also get more of the money back. All right. I got it. I'm with you there. All right. Greg Thomas's book, No Doubting Thomas. Listen, guys, I want you to make sure that you reach out. Go email him. Go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and the other platforms where you can purchase books to get his book. So let me ask you this. Okay. So this is it loosely based off of your life or fully based?
Fully
Um,
based.
fully based. All right now. Y'all
Fully
see how you
based.
corrected me?
Well, here's the funny part about it.
Uh-huh.
I self published this book. Okay, I went through 4 or 5 different uh, book, let's say, publishers or university press, etc. And they only wanted dirt. If I was going to be the most negative thing, they would have taken it. And I'm not going to give those universities or the university press's name out.
That's
But
right.
if I was going to be negative and dirty, they wanted to take the book. When I decided to give a factual account of
Mm-hmm.
what was going on, well, they didn't want to touch that. So
Interesting.
it's very interesting. Um, but it's also, it's facts. I gave
Mm-hmm.
facts.
Okay.
Um, and you can look at, I have 4 or 5 different teammates in the book. I have Hall of Fame coach Nolan Richardson, who's not only in the book, he gives quotes in the book.
Okay.
Um, I also have a former sports director or assistant sports director in the book, so they can all verify and say, yes, we know this took place, etc.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
throw anyone under the bus in terms, I didn't put my teammates' information out there. That was something else that they wanted me to name. And I played
Mm-hmm.
with some Hall of Fame players and coaches, and they wanted me to put them in there and give negative trash on them and things like that. I said, I'm
Yeah.
just talking about my experience as an 18 to 22-year-old, what it was like, and how you persevered and worked through it and helped shape my life. And I didn't all that other stuff I could have added, but I didn't do that.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I mean, you were using some integrity, obviously, in deciding what to put out and, let the world see.
Yes.
Um,
But there
so
are stories though, Miss Annette. There are I got stories.
I
There are
bet you
many
do.
stories that I didn't put in there
I'm
that I
sure.
didn't think it would serve the purpose of shedding that light that I was trying to shed. This is just my experience. Did I put all of my experiences in there? No. No, some
Right.
things need to be kept in house.
Okay. All right.
You don't tell everything like that.
Yes.
But I ended up with 85 of the best brothers from another mother.
Yeah.
And I let them tell their story. If they want to tell what was going on with them, then they can do the same thing that I did. I didn't want to put it out there and then have that negative feeling coming back, because there are
Mhm.
some stories in that you don't talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
It's family. It's family.
That's family.
Some things you can air, but there are some things you just need to, let them dead dogs lie.
That right. Don't be rustling up nothing, right?
No. Yes. Yes.
All things are lawful, but some things are not expedient. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can't share everything. So, um, what was the motivation behind writing about this particular subject? Just because
Yeah.
you had experienced it, or was there something further?
And it was historical, and the university still trying not to shed some of that light. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you do something or you accomplish certain goals, you want to be respected, and you
Yeah.
want to go. And you know, I was the first to start. I am still the winningest quarterback in University of Arkansas history, but you'll never know it unless you're speaking to certain reporters because they don't post it like they post other things. You know,
Wow.
some of that is just, you know, hurtful at times, but you want to tell the story, and there is a story. You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
from San Angelo, Texas. Um, Came from a great family, played
Right.
for some great coaches, had an opportunity to go to college on a scholarship, and play for an athletic director that's a Hall of Fame and a college coach that was a Hall of Fame, and just
Mm-hmm.
shared that journey. And not everything is peaches and cream. Not everything works out the way you like it to, but you just stick the course. And
Yeah.
so uh, the story is the story. You know, my
Yeah.
father, you know, I start the book out in the first chapter. We're talking about my father, and he was going to college in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a chance my sophomore year to start in Austin on a field that my father couldn't even walk across.
Wow.
So you talk about that, and that's how I began the book. Was talking about
Oh,
my father got it. You know, he didn't even go to the game. So that's how emotional it was for him. But that's how the book starts, and it's just factual. And you
that's
just go
deep.
from there, and then go through the journey that I had, which was absolutely beautiful. You know, it is what it is, and you just accept it, and you
Mm-hmm.
go on about your life.
Right. You learn, or you should learn from experiences. This is great stuff. Listen, what year were you? Would you mind sharing the year you were at University of
Oh,
Arkansas?
1984 to 1988.
Okay. Okay.
So
All right.
it's almost 40 years. Almost 40 years.
Almost 40 years.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Y'all know I had to while he was talking, go ahead and hop on the internet. Y'all know that, right?
Then look it up and find it. It's there. You can find
Well,
probably
this one,
25 games. There'll be 25 games on
yeah,
there too. Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking at the one article I brought up. It talks about your book signing. Was it last year? Your book signing?
Which
Well, at
one? The
least
one
this
in San
article is about.
Angelo or the one in Arkansas or the one in Little Rock? So there's been three.
Oh, there have been three. Okay, all
Yes,
right,
ma'am. So I went
okay.
to my hometown and did one in San Angelo,
Uh huh.
um, where it all began. And then I did one in Fort Smith and one in Fayetteville.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And both of those are
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Arkansas. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, we got a celebrity on the show. All
Well,
right, so.
I don't know about that.
But it's all good though. It's all
Yeah.
good. Hey, we can toot your horn. We gonna
Thank
do it.
you.
We gonna toot your horn.
Thank you,
Um,
ma'am.
let's see. I think Tiffany joined us. Thank you for coming in, Tiffany. She's a wonderful. I had her on my show. Was it last week? But thank you for joining us on today.
Yes.
And all you that are listening, again, we are continuing on with our conversation and interviews with the nominees of the Distinguished Authors Guild. And so, my last guest on today, Mr. Thomas, we were just talking a little bit about his background, a little bit about the background of his book, No Doubting Thomas. The full name of the book, No Doubting Thomas. I had it right here. Hog Whisperer and My Arkansas Memoirs. Ooh, this is interesting. Y'all got to get this book. Get this book.
Please. Please.
Uh, support him. Please make sure you support it. I had on here, and I'm going to put it back up, the email for you to reach out to him, nodoubtingthomas.hogwhisperer@gmail.com. You can also go on Amazon and other book outlets if you so desire, but make sure you support my brother. I want to ask you before we end on today a little bit. I had Michael Bailey on earlier. He was the first
Hmm.
guest on today. And I did talk to him about um, our African American male authors. What does this mean to you as a Black author to become one? And how was that experience, or did it even factor into you writing the fact that you are African American?
I'm gonna stop you there. I've been Black my whole life. I haven't been African Americans. I've been Black my entire life.
Well, I got to be politically
Yes,
correct,
I understand that, and that's one area that I'll draw the line. I've been black my
Okay.
entire life. Um,
Hmm.
I think when I put it into perspective, it's awesome, and with a big A. And I say that because many of times I've gone to book club, book fairs. I'm an avid reader, and
Yeah.
I don't look to see if it was male or female, but I do know that more females read than males. Being a coach, you try to get your young men to find other ways to express themselves, and the easiest way to express yourself is to read because you never know. The mind is a heck of a minefield, and we
Yeah.
don't do enough with our young boys to get them involved, to imagine, to create, to see things through other people's eyes,
Hmm.
and that's easy to do if we get them to read. But we'll
Okay.
we'll let a little girl read. We don't. If a boy's reading, it's like playing the piano. That's a bad thing.
Hmm.
So we have to do a better job of that. For my children and grandchildren, I wanted them to see that dad could do something else. For my basketball boys, and they've celebrated all along with it, uh, it's an inspiration for them also because they're already smart. They're
Yeah.
already going to aspire. Now they can probably do something out there and then want to write about it and share that also. Um, I went to a book fair over in South Dallas about 2 months ago. And I would say it's the first book fair in about 10 or 15 years. And I went to see Troy Johnson, who's with the African American Literature Book Club, to meet him because I'm
Hmm.
trying to get the book in different audiences in front of different folks. And I was astonished at the layout. I was more moved by how many male authors that were there because you
Yeah.
don't think about these things.
Hmm.
And so when you push back or you leap into a different area, you have to take time to step back and look at and appreciate
Yeah.
it. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it more now because the book has been recognized. And that's an even bigger or an overwhelming response. Uh,
Yeah.
and I might say, and I'm going to add this to it, it's won the American Writers Award. It was a finalist for the
Hmm.
book of the year there. Was an independent publishers bronze medal winner.
Oh,
We're up for the Distinguished Authors Guild now, and that's all in this calendar year.
yeah.
So apparently something was done right. You know what I'm saying? And I can share that with not only myself, my family and friends, but whomever finds this subject matter interesting.
Hmm.
Um, and it is interesting. And I said
Yeah.
it's factual. And you can argue, you can debate it, you don't have to like it, but it's out there. And so
Yeah.
you take that and you appreciate it for what it is. I appreciate all the authors and what
Right.
they go through and how they get rejected, get dejected, gets unselected, all those things that come about. But it's
Hmm.
it's it's a precious accomplishment, and you
Yeah.
you, you appreciate it, and I appreciate it. And one more thing, the audiobook voiceover was through Greg Campbell. I don't know if you're familiar with Greg Campbell. If you're
No, not
not, go. He's an award-winning voice actor. He
okay.
has commercials out there and everything. And I was moved that he selected to take the book and do the audiobook
Beautiful.
and hear his voice. And his voice is almost as deep as mine, but I appreciate the work that he does and him
Yeah.
taking on the project and putting it out there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's good because I was just actually, I think I was talking with Natalie about audio
Hmm.
books because it seems like a certain generations or certain people, they kind of migrate toward audio more
Yes.
than anything. We're into this podcast, where people love to listen to stuff as opposed to sitting down reading, a lot of times. And how can you be able to grab that audience as well? So
Hmm.
that's a good thing that you have it on audio. I heard you mention that earlier today in your saying it again. It's great that you have your book on audio. This has been great. Tell me a little bit more about how you're feeling about this nomination with Distinguished Authors Guild, and what do you hope to get out of this?
I was very moved to receive an invitation to even try to enter, because I wasn't familiar with the Distinguished Authors Guild. And so it gave me an opportunity to research also and see who and what it would do, not only for the guild, but also for me. When you see a different African American award, a Black award, and you
Yeah,
get a chance to participate in it,
yeah,
yes, then you have a different appreciation. And there's some circles that you can't get into,
yeah.
you know,
That's true.
and you understand that. I'm not a part of the country club because I don't want to be a part of a country club. You understand? And I
Yeah,
understand that also.
yeah,
But for Miss Gina to reach out to me, it made my whole day. Being a
beautiful.
part of this process has been eye-opening. And I appreciate all the other authors, and I wish them luck. And it's great to be accepted. And that's the best part of it.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, we're grateful to be connected with you, and to be able to interview on today. I do want to thank you for taking time out with us and sharing about your journey, your literary journey, and about your background of your life. This has been tremendous. So I thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank
and
you for having me.
you are so welcome. And
Thank you.
congratulations again to you on your nomination. And we pray God's best for you and
Yep.
everything you go to say and do. All right.
Thank
Did
you.
you want to
Thank you.
share any next steps or anything with us before you go? Anything you have coming up?
Well, coming up, like I said, I will begin book number 2 in April. Hopefully, it'll begin in April. It won't take 14 months. I think I understand the process a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's going to be over something that happened 75 years ago. It's
Whoa.
also family related, but community related. And it
Okay.
will be sharing the lives of three men and 26 young men and their journey prior to the Korean War and their accomplishments after that time. And I think it'll be a better book than No Doubting Thomas.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Good. Sounds like you got some great stuff coming up, and I just pray that God will just continue to bless you as you're blessing others.
Thank you, Val. Thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you again for your time on today. Guys, we're going to get out of here and just let you know that meet us back on Friday. We have 2 more nominees that we're going to interview from Distinguished Authors Guild. So I'm going to play that promo as Mr. Thomas is exiting on today. Thank you again so much. You have a blessed day, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. God bless
All
you
right.
also. Good
All
luck,
right.
everyone.
Same to you. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm going to play the promo for Friday. I want you guys to stick with me. And I know and I appreciate you for joining in and sharing with me as I have taken time out to interview, set up interviews for the nominees of Distinguished Authors Guild. Again, we appreciate Gina Gatson, her entire committee, all the nominees of Distinguished Authors Guild. Greg was just saying, it's just such a blessing and an honor to be a part of it. So take a look at this for the guests for Friday. Please join me at 12 noon Central Standard Time, and I'll see you soon. Take a listen. On the next session of Get Caught in the Net.
Get caught in a net. What